Your story must continue. This is only the beginning.
Ah, good morning. Nice to see you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Those dreams keeping you awake again?
Yeah, but they just keep getting freakier. I mean, they start out okay, but this time, Lord Epic showed up at the end.
Ah.
You know, why do you never believe me when it comes to him?
Hey, we've all had imaginary friends at one point in our lives.
Whatever, I got games that need reviewing.
Okay, Big Bird.
He's real!
Hey everyone, Spazz here. You know, is there any logical reason why I keep playing these games? I mean, for the past 5 years, the concept has never changed. Sure, back in the day I would shell out however much to get the latest and greatest, but it's to the point now where I'm just bored, because I know they have nowhere else to go with this. Activision is the only video game company that I can think of to have a great idea, explore it, exploit it, and kill it, all within the span of less than a year. Well, if I haven't made it any more painfully obvious, this is going to be, and I mean it this time, the last part. Some of you may be upset by this idea, but let me tell you, if the game heroes say that the franchise needs to call it quits, then so will I. Ladies and gentlemen, the Guitar Hero franchise review, finale. Okay, first up, Guitar Hero Van Halen. Now, this was actually slated for a December release here in the States, but due to a special little promotion, it technically came out the same day as 5. Pretty much the deal was, if you bought this in the first month of its release, you got this for free. Now, I really gotta hand it to him for coming up with the strategy. Even if it was just a cheap way to boost sales in order to compete with this. But as it's been proven time after time, quantity can never beat out quality. Hence the pillow behind my head. You know, just in case. Let's get started, shall we? So after the millions of expected opening logos, we finally come to the main menu and see that it's set up exactly like Smash Hits. But it's not until we go into the quick play menu and see that the set list is set up exactly like Smash Hits. But it's not until we begin a song that we see the graphics look exactly like Smash Hits.
Why was pillow be so soft? Ow! Yay, back to the pillow.
Okay, did this game not come out after 5? Then why is it just not a skinned over clone of it? All the other band-centric titles followed this formula. Look, 3 in Aerosmith, World Tour and Metallica, 5 and Van Halen. Did they just not care about this one? Was it not in their budget to give it this kind of upgrade? Well, okay, yeah, it would be kind of hard to do that, especially in this economy, but... You know, I just thought of a really crazy theory, perhaps a little too crazy, but I'm just going to throw it out there anyway. They used another develop... Fuck me! Yes, as with Smash Hits, Neversoft tapped an unknown dev team to do their bidding, only this time they went with Underground Development, whose portfolio was a bit more impressive than Beanox, as they were attached to such titles as Enemy Territory Quake Wars and the cancelled Call of Duty Devil's Brigade. But that does not excuse this game's lacking quality. And I know the whole taking orders and playing it safe deal, but I don't know. For some reason, this just isn't sitting right with me. I'm sorry, but did you pay for this game? What? Did you physically go to a place of business which specializes in the sales of video gaming hard and software, request this specific title, and pay legal tender in exchange? You're right. Thank you. I haven't even talked about the soundtrack yet. Oh my... Good guy. Now this may come as a shock to all of you, but I thoroughly enjoyed the soundtrack. And I know a lot of you were saying, well, duh, it's Van freaking Halen. Well, the thing is, I'm really not that big of a Van Halen fan. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like a couple of their songs and consider Eddie to be one of the greatest electric guitarists of this past century, but it's the guest acts that did it for me. So please don't kill me. Again. With a sport. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Eddie's son and current bassist for the band, Wolfgang, was in charge of most of the track choices. And borrowing a similar idea from my review of the first one, you can really tell which ones are Wolfie approved. This is Mom, has got it going on. This is Mom, has got it going on. Well, some of them are good. Yes, I know that they included songs by other artists in both Aerosmith and Metallica, but those felt like they were built around the band, told their story, featured them prominently. This feels like they had a pop rock edition ready to go, but threw Van Halen in at the last minute for marquee value. Still, I can't really fault the game too much. I mean, it's not like I paid for it. That's what I... So, because of this, I give it a 3 out of 5. Now, this next game I was strongly against reviewing, because of one tiny detail. It did not bear the phrase, Guitar Hero! But I know I'll catch hell if I don't, so... DJ Hero. First of all, I saw this game coming a mile away, because with all the other instrument peripherals that were being released, the turntable was bound to be one of them. But surprisingly, I was rather interested in playing this. Yeah, but not because I had to for the review, but... Okay, think about it. Since World Tour, Guitar Hero is barely a Guitar Hero game anymore, in the sense that the title instrument isn't the main focus. This, on the other hand, one instrument is dealt with, focused on, and used throughout the entire game. Well, unless you count the fact that you can actually use a guitar in the game, but fuck that. This is all you need to care about. Speaking of which, let's touch upon this, because it is a little more complex than that of its pseudo-string counterpart. To start, there's the ever-so-important record deck, which fulfills the colored buttons requirement, but also spins freely around, allowing you to scratch or rewind mid-song. Last but not least is the main control deck, which houses all the bells and whistles to pull off the rest of the game's requirements, such as the fade switch, volume knob, and a button to activate Euphoria, which is basically this game's version of Star Power. And no, dropping your pants on stage does not activate this either. I learned that the hard way. Left-handed? No problem. Just move the record deck to the left side and toggle the appropriate switch in the options. Whew! Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get wickety whack. God, I need a girlfriend. Now, as I've said time and again, what makes or breaks any rhythm game is its soundtrack. But this is a very interesting case. Instead of getting licenses for a bunch of well-known scratch-heavy dance mixes, they asked a handful of popular DJs to create mixes and mashups of various songs, and even a couple original compositions as well. And the results? Seriously, the songs, while on their own range from okay to great, are mixed together in a way that make them outstanding, and in some cases, they seem like they were made for each other. Such as Another One Bites the Dust Brass Monkey,
Brass Monkey, that funky monkey.
My Name Is Loser,
Hi, my name is what? My name is who? My name is Slim Shady.
All Eyes on Me, Bittersweet Symphony,
All eyes on me.
and of course, Ice Ice Baby, You Can't Touch This.
You can't touch this. Can't touch this.
And above all, this gameplay is just so addicting. I mean, I could just play this for hours. Good God, this game is long. Was this at all necessary? Look, as much as I love these mixes, some of them seem to go on for fucking ever. And with at least 5 to 6 of these per set, suddenly a marathon of the Irate Gamer doesn't seem so bad. And can someone, please, explain to me why there are so many mixes of Rihanna's Disturbia and Gwen Stefani songs? Was it because they have this massive crush on both of them that they thought using the songs was gonna get their attention? But, okay, I'll give it this. It was a decent first attempt at a game like this, and somehow managed to keep me entertained for a few hours, and will continue to do so for a hell of a lot more. But, personally, I don't think it's strong enough to carry its own series. No! No! So, I'll give this a 3.5. Alright, from one inevitable to another. Well, luckily this is going to be a lot easier to review than the previous two. So much so that I will simply refer you to the previous installment of this franchise review. Why? Because this and Guitar Hero 5 are the same exact game! The graphics, the features, the basic structure are all identical. The only difference is that the soundtrack is a bit more family-friendly. Which, I'll say, is a lot better than 5. So come on! It has fucking Devo! But with this, they knew which demographic they were targeting, and it works. The entire game does appeal to people of all ages, and the simplicity of the gameplay only strengthens that. But that's not the whole story, now is it? 'Cause they also made it for Nintendo DS. Yes, but again, it's one of those that I don't have to do too much reviewing for, because it plays exactly like the 3 on-tour titles. But the strangest thing about this is even though it bears the same style of music as the console version, its soundtrack is completely different. But still, they knew who they were marketing this to, and I honestly can't find a problem with that. So, I'll give both a 4. Alright, so up next is Guitar Hero Van Halen. Shut the fuck up and let me finish, okay? The version I reviewed was the promotional use only version. In other words, probably not the finished product. They could have made the necessary changes in order to make this the game that everyone was expecting. But there's only one way to find out.
10 seconds later.
Nope, same game, didn't change a thing. Now, at this point, they've released a Guitar Hero game for pretty much every electronic device that is capable of gaming. Except for one. So, what did everyone's favorite fruity little company do? They made an app for that. Shut up! Guitar Hero iOS was released this past June, making it the first release of the year in the franchise, and includes all the features you've come to expect, such as character customization, instrument customization, and surprisingly downloadable content. And by starting you off with a grand total of 6 songs, library expanding might be in order. But why would you want to? It's an app, for Christ's sake! Sure, the controls do take a bit of getting used to, and the option to boost the challenge is there, but even then, this isn't the kind of game where I'm going to be worried about getting the highest score or bringing a bunch of people over to my house to make a party out of it. No. Like all the other apps, I use this to pass the time. See, this is a perfect example of a game trying to be something that it's not, when in reality, it doesn't need to be. It's perfectly fine the way it is. A game specifically designed for the casual gamer. And call me crazy, but I give it a 4.5. And that, dear viewers, brings us to this year's annual release, Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock. And based on the overly generic cover art, I'm just going to go ahead and prepare for the worst.
Dude, I think I just filled the cup.
Okay, before I give you all the wrong impression, there were a few things that I didn't like about this. Number 1, reusing animations from World Tour isn't innovative, it's lazy. Number 2, the pacing is off at some points. And number 3, this is a guitar, not a fucking piano.
Open your eyes.
But aside from that, this is by far the best attempt that Neversoft has made in a long time. But most of that lends to the fact that they revamped nearly everything, from the art style, which is dialed back to give off more of a metal-centric feeling, to the main game modes. And here is where it gets interesting. No longer is there a quick play mode, but quick play plus. Yeah, remember the ranking system from World Tour and those lame challenges from 5? Here, they are married together beautifully, so that every time you level up, you unlock a new item. Also, they added a new sharing option that allows you to do just that with your friends via Xbox Live, PSN, and even Facebook and Twitter. As if I needed a better reason to get people to unfollow me. But its best and greatest feature? Not all the songs are playable from the start. Kick ass tastic! Right, Kitty? Those of you who've seen the earlier installments of the franchise review should know my feelings about having all the songs available from the start, because it doesn't really give you any incentive to play the main mode, which, outside of the soundtrack, is the only other reason to play these games. Speaking of which, Career Mode got a bit of an overhaul as well. Only it's not called Career Mode, but Quest Mode! The demigod of rock has suffered a defeat, and so it is up to the mighty warriors to take their true forms, find the legendary guitar, and slay the beast. Oh yeah, it's that epic. And made even more epic by the fact that it's narrated by Gene Simmons and partially inspired by the Rush song 2112. And as far as progressive story modes go, this is definitely a step up from their previous attempts, as there is actual progression. The further you get, the harder the songs become, the likes of which I haven't seen since 3. In fact, this is the first time since then that I felt like I had a genuine Guitar Hero experience. The art style fit. The soundtrack fit. For the first time in a long time, everything felt right. So because of that, I will give it a rating of 5 out of 5. Now, you might be thinking that because of this game, the future of the franchise looks very promising. And I really wish I could tell you the same. But I can't. See, when Warriors of Rock was announced, Activision had also stated that because of the poor sales in 2009, it had dissolved Red Octane and shut down Neversoft's Guitar Hero division, placing all future developments in the hands of Vicarious Visions. So it is kind of fitting or ironic that in this last part, the last game I reviewed was the last one to be developed by the forefathers of the franchise. Now, this doesn't mean that I won't keep playing these games. I just know ending things on a good note is way better than not. So, I hope you've enjoyed watching me suffer through these games these past 2 years, and until next time, I'm Spazz Master. Later.
Hey, look at the things on screen. Shiny buttons. You want to click them? Come on, I know you want to click them. Come on, click them. Click them. Click them. Please. Please click them. Okay, bye.